They really do steal your power, and you need to get your power back. Why do you keep saying yes again to the narcissist? Come out for a drink with me. Won't you enjoy this lovely afternoon in the sun with me? Oh yes, okay, I'll put myself back into that place. And then at the end of 2 hours of whatever activity you've chosen to do, you find yourself sad again. Why do you keep doing it yourself? If a narcissist is the master of manipulation and you know it, and your brain still keeps going back to be manipulated, it's because there is a science-based reason. Your brain, connected to your nervous system, is making you engage in behaviors that are habit rather than planned, desired, or wanted. And we have to break that habit. Habit is more powerful than conscious decision. We all know that, which is why we have addicts, we have challenges with addictions and bad habits, etc. Breaking a habit is one of the biggest things we've learned in our lives in regard to being successful. So let's look at how we do that. I'm going to give you 3 key steps in the next few minutes that I believe can be very empowering. We have a very powerful chemical cocktail within our brain. And one of the things that cocktail does when correctly mixed is it thrives on recognition. It thrives on the feeling of being successful, being loved, being wanted in a space. It's one of the things that drives us to being a greater person than we are. However, behaviors that are underpinned within someone who is a narcissist that's their way of getting that attention and recognition. And often that knowledge preys on the characteristic that is more yearning and wanting and needing. And that longing for wanting and needing brings a fear of being rejected or saying no. And in fact, the proposed conflict that may ensue from your time together is less of a threat or a pain than being rejected, or being alone, or being unloved, or being unwanted. Now, these are habits that are wired into our conscious understanding of self, of ourself. What you accept, what you're prepared to tolerate, and what you believe you are worth. That has come from many years, in fact, maybe even many generations of messaging that has been slowly by slowly wired into your unconscious mind around who you are. And who you are in your belief system creates your personality, and your personality attracts the environment and the people and the experiences that it believes it is. And that often makes us sort of have a worth level of what we accept, what we believe that we get, what we believe we'll tolerate. When your brain is wired in that way, it will allow itself to succumb to the physical hooks that are often used by a brain that's wired to pull that in, i.e. the narcissist. Love bombing, making you feel so needed and wanted. Guilt trips is another one. The narcissist will make their partner feel guilty for not giving them what they need. And you go ahead and you give that to them because you please. You know, as a woman, you please, or as a man, you want to solve the problems and make things perfect for your partner. Either way, you are feeding into that narcissist behavior, which is the type of brain that sucks in its attention and gets its needs met through taking from others. Whereas you, the one who's not the narcissist, but continually goes back, is the one who gets its love cup filled by giving. But what you're failing to do is to give to yourself and to hold your boundaries. And this is where boundaries are the key. And if you have not got the right boundaries in place, it's probably because you don't have self-love in place. So how do we break free? We need to recognize the manipulation. We need to put a stop to it because we have clear boundaries. I will not be told how to feel or what to do or how to respond to your behaviors that are making me feel sad. Have you ever heard them say, well, the reason I acted that way is because you did this? That is a big red flag. And if you ever hear that, either challenge it and say, this is behavior I will not accept, or walk away and break the ties. But if you want to break the ties completely, you have to believe so intrinsically that you did not cause that behavior. No one can make somebody else act a certain way. They may make you feel that way, but they cannot make you respond. And how you respond is totally down to you. And when the narcissist tells you that his behaviors and his responses to you were because of your actions, you need to know so intrinsically that is not the case. And therefore be able to hold your standards and say, absolutely, that is not correct. You deal with your behaviors, you deal with your emotions, and when you're ready to interact with me in the way that I expect in a relationship for me, then we can carry on talking. Number 2, train your nervous system to realign and resettle and to not allow someone else's behavior to trigger you. This has been a big lesson for me throughout my life and something I've really had to learn. Setting clear boundaries helps to make sure that you don't get triggered. But when you do feel yourself getting upset or feeling like your nervous system is going all over the place, you need to have some regulation strategies in place. Go for a walk, listen to some music, walk completely away, take a few days of time to recenter back on yourself and say, actually, this is my time to say no to influences that are making me feel less than happy, less than peaceful, less than powerful. And finally, I want you to remember that it is not your responsibility to fix them. It is not your place to have to put yourself through the journey of fixing the narcissistic behavior. What you need to do is fix your own internal neural pathways in regard to boundaries, self-love, and belief of what you deserve. And then putting your foot down and saying, I will limit my time around you, or I will break this relationship because it is not bringing me the strength, the positive energy, the peace, and the ultimate joy that I deserve and I believe is in my sphere of possibility.